Good morning, children. This is 11th Physics. Today we are going to start with the chapter 12, that is thermodynamics. So, children, thermodynamics, it is a branch of physics in which we are going to study about the temperature, we are going to study about the heat, and we will see the interconversion of heat into various other forms of energy. Right, children? Now, children, here thermodynamics, it is a macroscopic science. Thermodynamics is a macroscopic science. It will deal with the full system, the bulk system, without going into the molecular level. Right? We are going to talk about the microscopic variables such as pressure. We will talk about volume. We will talk about temperature. We are going to talk about mass, and we will be talking about the composition of the system which can be directly be measurable. So in thermodynamics, we are going to study the microscopic parameters, the variables like pressure, volume, temperature, mass, right, which can be measured. So let's move further and we will come with the first topic of the chapter, and that is thermal equilibrium. Thermal equilibrium. Right, children? In mechanics, we know equilibrium means the net force, the net torque on the system is zero. But here the word equilibrium means that the two systems, their macroscopic variables, they remain constant. They do not change with time. So that is thermal equilibrium in thermodynamics. So when we say the state of the system is in equilibrium, it means that the macroscopic variables, that are the pressure, the volume, the temperature, the mass of the system, it does not change with time. For example, if you have a gas which is enclosed in a container and the container is totally insulated from the surrounding, means no heat can go from the gas to the surrounding, neither heat can come from the surrounding to the gas, right? And you have fixed the pressure, volume and temperature and mass and everything, means no macroscopic variable is changing with time. So this system of gas which is enclosed in a rigid container is in equilibrium. Right. So here we have one more diagram. If you see in this diagram, children, yes, this diagram. Okay. Okay. Children, see in this diagram. Here we are going to describe two terms. First term is, children, adiabatic. First term is adiabatic. So here you can see adiabatic wall. Adiabatic wall means it is an insulating wall. It does not allow the heat to flow from one end to the other end, right? The second term is, children, it is diathermic. The second term is diathermic wall. Diathermic is the wall which is going to allow the heat to flow from one to another. right? So adiabatic will not allow the heat to flow, and diathermic will allow the heat to flow from one to another. So children, in the diagram number 1 over here, if you see here, you are having a system of gas A and gas B. Now let the pressure of the gas A be PA and the volume be VA. Similarly, let the pressure of gas B be PB and its volume will be VB, right? Now, if these two vessels, here you can see that they are separated by an adiabatic wall. Adiabatic wall means no heat will flow from one end to the other end, right? Then what will happen? The gas A will remain at pressure PA and its volume will remain VA. Similarly, gas B will remain in equilibrium, that is its pressure will be PB and its volume will be VB. That is their pressure volume, the macroscopic variables, the macroscopic variables, pressure, volume, temperature, because there is no transfer of it, the temperature, the mass of the gas, the composition of the gas, all remain same. They are not changing with time. So the system of two gases, that is A and B, are in thermal equilibrium. Right, children? Now let's talk about the diagram B. In the diagram B, here they have used a dithermic wall. Diathermic wall is conducting, means it will allow. So here it is going to allow the heat to flow from one to another. So children, we know that the heat is going to flow from high temperature to low temperature, right? So let the variables, what will happen as there is a conducting wall placed between them, so there will be transfer of heat, and then after some time they are going to gain the new variables, the new pressure and volume variables, once the heat transfer takes place. And after that, suppose their parameters are, for gas A it is PA dash and VA dash. This is the pressure and volume of gas A in the second diagram, and this is the pressure PB dash and VB dash is the volume of gas B after the heat flow has taken place. And after this, there is no more flow of heat, because the two systems, they children attain equal temperature and now they are in equilibrium with each other. So this is your thermal equilibrium, right? Means the macroscopic parameters, the variables, the pressure, volume, temperature, mass, the constitution, they all remain same with the time. Now let's move to the next topic, and the next topic is the zeroth law. Why children it is zeroth law? Children, it is called zeroth law because before the discovery, before the zeroth law was given, the first law and second law already, they were well established, they existed. So this law was given the name as zeroth law. So what does this law state? Let's see. So children, zeroth law, it states that if two systems, suppose in this diagram as you can see, okay, now the diagram is, okay. Now, if you children see in this diagram, here what we have done, here we are having, this is system A and this is system B, and I have separated them with an adiabatic wall, means no heat flow, right? And here we have connected with them with a dithermic wall, means there can flow of heat between system A and C and system B and C. So what will happen? the heat will flow from between system A and C. The heat will flow between system B and C. So finally, the system A and C will be in thermal equilibrium, and the system B and C will be in thermal equilibrium. AC will be in thermal equilibrium and system BC will be in thermal equilibrium. So if they are in thermal equilibrium, then A and B have to be in thermal equilibrium. How? So what we did, we had placed the setup like this before, so they came into thermal equilibrium, and after that what we are doing, instead of adiabatic wall, we are putting an we are putting a dithermic wall here, and here we are putting an adiabatic wall. So now heat transfer can take place over here, but no heat is getting transferred. It means the temperature of A and B is same. They already are in the thermal equilibrium. So this is our 0th law of thermodynamics, which states that if two systems are in thermal equilibrium with the third system, here you saw, children, that A was in thermal equilibrium with C and system B was in thermal equilibrium with C. So here these two systems are in thermal equilibrium with system A. Then A and B have to be in thermal equilibrium with each other. Right? Then A and B are already in thermal equilibrium with each other. This is your 0th law of thermodynamics. Right? It can be stated as two systems in thermal equilibrium with the third system separately are in thermal equilibrium with each other. So children, this is your 0th law of thermodynamics, and when the two systems are in thermal equilibrium, the physical quantity, that is temperature will be same for both the systems. Right children? Now let's talk about the next topic, that is heat, internal energy and work done. So children, now we know about heat. Okay. Zeroth law, and this is your, okay, before this, so children, first we will talk about the internal energy. Now children, if we talk about the total energy, right, suppose you are having here a container, and in this container we are having here the gas molecules, right. Now suppose the container is moving with velocity v and the container is at a height of h. Right children, let me make the gas molecules with yellow, right. Now, the total energy of this system, that is this cylindrical container with gas molecules in it. If we talk about total energy, so children, total energy will constitute of kinetic energy plus potential energy. That is the kinetic energy of the system. That is kinetic energy of the body. So this whole body, as it is moving with the speed of v, it's kinetic energy. Then potential energy, because as this object, this container is at an height of h from the ground, the gravitational potential energy will act. Your children, potential energy can be in terms of gravitational potential energy, it can be in terms of electrostatic potential energy, right? And one major energy is the internal energy. So children, as the name suggests, internal, that is the energy of the molecules, that is at the molecular level, means this yellow gas molecules, they are having a energy. That energy is the internal energy. So inside the container, as the molecules are in motion, they will possess kinetic energy. As the molecules, they are at different position, they are at different heights, they will possess potential energy. Now, at very high temperature, the molecules, they are going to vibrate, right? Like this, like this, like this. So because of this, they will possess vibrational energy. So this all energy, that is the kinetic energy of the molecules, the potential energy of the molecules, the vibrational energy of the molecules, and if the molecules are rotating, the rotational energy of the molecules means it is at the molecular level. They all sum up as the internal energy of the system. So internal energy of the system, children, it purely depends upon the state of existence of the system, right? What is its present state? It does not depend upon the path which has been selected to bring the system to that state, right? And it only depends upon the macroscopic variables, that is, it depends upon pressure, temperature, volume, right? It depends upon these terms. It depends upon the pressure, volume, and temperature. It depends only on this state of existence of the system and not on the path along which the system has been brought to that state, right, children? So this is your internal energy. So this is at the molecular level, the energy, to the total energy that is possessed by the molecules. Now children, let's talk about the ways, the two ways by which you can change the internal energy of the system, right? Now let's see. In the first way, suppose children, you place the cylinder over a hot body. Suppose I connect here a burner, right? So supposing you are placing a cylinder over a hot body. So what will happen? The heat energy will flow from hotter body to the colder body. This is your hot body and this is your cold body. So children, heat is going to flow from hotter body to the colder body because of the difference in the temperature. So as temperature will increase, the internal energy, as temperature increases, the molecules of the gas, they start vibrating, they start moving very fast. So their velocity increases, and as their velocity increases, their kinetic energy will increase, and which will increase the internal energy, which is denoted by U. Right, children? So this is one way, that is by applying heat energy, how the internal energy of the system can be increased. Right, children? Next way, next method is, children, by, if you see this setup, in this setup, children, you can see that here is a system, and here we have connected a piston which is connected with some mass over here, and at the bottom we have connected a burner. So what will happen, children, when we are heating the system from the below? When we are heating the system from the below, the piston will be pushed upward, right? The piston can be pushed upward or it can be pushed downward. If we place here more weights, if we put here more weights, then what will happen? Then the piston will be pushed upwards. But if here we reduce weight, then the piston will move downwards. So we can push the piston down by raising some weight attached to it. So work is done on the gas when we put it down. So because of the change in the pressure, when you are moving the piston up and down, there will be change in the pressure, and that is work is done on the gas. So this also increases internal energy of the gas. So children, internal energy of the gas can be changed by two ways. Number one, by the heat, and number two, by doing work, right? Your children, heat and work, they are not the state variables, right? They depend upon the procedure, they depend upon the method through which the system has come to that particular state, right? So whenever children, the system over here is absorbing heat, this gas system, it is absorbing heat. Suppose the heat that is given is q, amount of heat is given to the system, so the energy of the system will increase. So the heat absorbed by the system is positive and heat which is given out by the system is negative. Suppose this heat the system gives to the surrounding, then the heat will be negative. Means जो heat ले रहा है that will be positive and the system who is giving the heat will be negative, right? Here if you see children, the work is done by the pulley system on the gas. So on the gas the work is done, so it is negative, and the work is done by the system, that is positive. जो work कर रहा है that is positive. Oh, I am doing work, I am feeling very positive, right? So if there is increase in the internal energy, if the internal energy increases, then it will be positive, and if the internal energy decreases, then it will be negative. We know U is the symbol for internal energy, and del U is change in internal energy, right children? Now children, let's talk about the first law of thermodynamics. So children, this first law of thermodynamics is simply the law of conservation of energy. It is simply the law of conservation of energy, which states that, suppose here if you are applying Q amount of heat. Suppose we are applying del Q amount of heat. So this heat energy which is provided to this system, that energy partly it will get converted or partly it will be used to change the internal energy. ये energy absorb करेगा, उसका internal energy में change आएगा, and some of that heat energy will be used in doing work. So total heat energy supplied, it is converted or it is utilized into changing the internal energy, that is del U, and for doing work by the system on the surrounding. So children, you can say that, so children, here you can say that if dq amount, if del Q is the heat supplied by the surrounding to the system, then this heat energy will be used by work done by the system on the surrounding and change in the kinetic internal energy of the system. So total heat, suppose you have applied 10 joule of heat. So 10 joule of heat partly will be used. Suppose 3 joule is used to change the internal energy and work done is suppose 7 joule. So if you add them, that will be your total heat by U. So this is your first law of thermodynamics, that if you are applying heat to the system which is capable of doing work, then the amount of heat energy that is absorbed by the system, that will be equal to what? That will be equal to the sum of increase in the internal energy and the work done by the system on the surrounding. So this is your equation for first law of thermodynamics. Right children? Now suppose children, here we are having a system in which gas is there and which is connected to a piston, which is connected to a piston. Let me show it to you over here, which is connected to a piston. So children, here you can see a system in which gas is there, and here you can see a piston is connected, right? A piston is connected. So when you children, you supply del Q amount of heat, suppose you are applying a pressure of T on this area, that is A. So the piston moves downward, and let dx be the displacement. Then children, we know that work done is force into displacement, right? Force is pressure into area and displacement over here is dx. So your total work done, pressure into area, pressure into area and into dx. So if we see this area into dx, area into dx, dx is distance, area into distance will be volume. So work done will be pressure into change in volume. So your first law equation can be written as del q equals to del u plus del W. Instead of del W, we can write P del V. So the first law of thermodynamics takes the form of del Q equals to del U plus P del V. Right, children? So this is your first law of thermodynamics. Now, children, let's talk about the next topic, and that is specific heat of a gas. Now, children, we are aware of the term that is specific heat capacity of gas. Now, specific heat capacity, we have learned in class 10th also that C equals to Q upon M del T. Right? C equals to Q upon M del T. That is the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of unit mass of gas, unit mass of substance by 1 degree centigrade, means by 1 degree Celsius. If you want to increase the temperature of a substance of unit mass, then how much amount of heat energy you are going to give? That heat energy is the specific heat capacity of that system, which is denoted by C. We know the unit of specific heat capacity, that is joule per kg degree centigrade. Right? This is we know. So now here we are having two processes. We are going to talk about this two first. Isothermal, right? Isothermal, isolate ho jana, right? To remain separate. Thermal means there is no transfer of heat. The temperature will remain constant. That is your isothermal process, right? It is non-conducting. कोई heat transfer नहीं होगा, no temperature change, right? Temperature जो है वो वही रहेगा. Second is your adiabatic. Adiabatic we know there is no transfer of heat energy. कोई हीट एनर्जी ट्रांसफर नहीं होगा और यहाँ पे क्या है कि टेम्परेचर आपका चेंज नहीं होगा, टेम्परेचर कांस्टेंट रहेगा, राइट? सो फॉर आइसोथर्मल प्रोसेस द टेम्परेचर T is constant. So change in temperature, temperature ही constant है. Suppose it is at 20 degree centigrade, the temperature remains 20 only. So change in temperature is 20 minus 20, which is 0. So suppose we want to find out the specific heat capacity for isothermal process, then del T की जगह क्या डाल देंगे? 0. Q upon 0. So anything upon 0 is infinity. So value of specific heat capacity of a system for isothermal process is infinite. Right beta? Because isothermal matlab temperature will not change. Temperature will remain isolated. I am like this only, I am constant. So del T is 0 and your specific heat capacity for isothermal process is infinity. Right. Next we are going to talk about adiabatic. Adiabatic we know heat transfer नहीं होगा, heat 0 हो जाएगी. Heat is 0 means Q is 0, right? So if we put Q 0 over here, this is C is 0. So specific heat capacity of gas of system for adiabatic process is 0. So children, your specific heat capacity of gas can range from 0 to infinity. It can have any value, positive or negative value, ranging from 0 to infinity. So it means it value depends upon the condition of the pressure and volume when the gas is being heated. Right, children? So this is your specific heat capacity of gases. We are having two types of specific heat capacities of the gases, and they are number one, at constant volume. Suppose we keep the volume of the system to be constant, right? So if we keep the volume of the system constant, then we are going to put a V with C, just to show that this is the specific heat capacity at constant volume. So what we are doing? We are increasing the temperature by 1 degree centigrade, right, of the gas of mass 1 kg, right? So at constant volume, so that heat supplied where we keep the volume of the gas constant, volume change nahi hone de rahe hum, we keep the volume constant. So that specific heat is known as the specific heat capacity at constant volume, right? It is denoted by CV. It is denoted by CV, right? It can also be called as molar specific heat at constant volume. If you define in terms of 1 mole of gas, instead of 1 gram, if you define in terms of 1 mole, you can call it as molar specific heat at constant volume. Let's talk about the second specific heat capacity. If you keep the pressure constant, children, our pressure constant rakh rahe ho, right? So at constant pressure, the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of 1 gram of gas by 1 degree centigrade, it is known as specific heat at constant volume, which is denoted by Cp. So children, these are the two types of specific heat capacities of gas denoted by Cp and Cv. So children, here Cp is always greater than Cv, right? So there is a relation, suppose there is a relation which is known as the Myers formula, that is specific heat relation, and through this relation we can write Cp minus Cv is equal to R. Cp minus Cv is equal to R, where R is your gas constant and its value is 8.31 joule per mole per Kelvin. Right, children? This is your R. Okay. Now let's move to the next topic.